One good thing about up north in the snow. Well, the 8.8's in the shop. If you follow me on Instagram, you would have seen the stories I posted where I originally got this axle from a junkyard close by my house, and it looked like they pulled this thing out of the bottom of an ocean. It was like cornflakes, rust all over it. You could literally poke it with your finger and rust would just fall off it. So I got a hold of them. They said no problem, we'll get you another one, and here she is. Just surface rust, nothing bad. Everything looks good with it. What I'm gonna do now is tear into this thing, and hopefully it has 31 spline axles in it. I'm not very hopeful, but we'll see. And also I'm not a Ford guy, so I can't tell you that because of whatever car this came out of in year and this and that, if it had 31s in it or not, but my F100 that I have that this is going in has 31 spline axles with a locker, which is why I was hoping this had 31 spline axles. If not, I'm gonna have to order new axles for it. So yeah. Oh, here's the stand I built to hold it. On the engine stand, I just put an F clamp over there just to hold it. You loosen that up, it'll roll all the way around. So tear into this thing. Already smells like gear lube. Keep my identification tags. Someone used a lot of RTV on this thing. I don't know, do they ship these with fluid in them? Oh, it's got fluid in it. Great. That means I gotta drain that shit out. Sweet. This might be fun to watch. Guess while I'm waiting on that, I can rip these control arms off. Yeah, it's winter time up here, so I can't put anything outside, roll anything outside, so it's kind of tight. Everything that's in here. Of course not. So this was nice. The other axle didn't have these. These are the upper control arms, which I'll obviously be making some tubular ones, maybe double, maybe adjustable, I don't know. But yeah, these are pretty chintzy stamped steel with big rubber bushings. And I'm pretty sure the ones on the truck now, the truck gets a little bit of a shimmy sometimes, and I think it's because the bushings are worn out, so it'd be nice to have this to make that off of once I get it out. Alright, we'll probably be here all fucking day waiting for that thing to drain out. About the majority of it's gone, so. Now I can put a drip pan under each side of the axle housing because I'm pretty sure there's going to be some residual coming out of there too. Next, I gotta take this guy out to get the pin out to release the C-clips, let the axles push in, and then we can slide the axles out the end and count the splines. Nope. Got the ratchet stuck. Of course, my 8mm box wrench isn't in the toolbox, so let's take this thing out by hand. There she is. Oh, whoa, whoa, come on, sweetie. There you go. There's that. Roll this and pull the spider gears out. There goes that one. There's one C-clip. Two C-clip. Well, set this up here. So I counted the splines. They're 28. They're not 31. So that means I'll have to order axles for this. No big deal. The main reason I'm doing this is if you have a Crown Vic from 2003 through 2012, they have a much wider track width on the axle. I'm sorry, not a track width, but they have much wider from flange to flange, like mounting brake rotor to brake rotor. There, I believe the measurement is 2.5 inches on each side wider. So this is a 98 through 2002 Crown Vic rear axle, 8.8. You can tell because the Watts link stud on top here, that's a dead giveaway. They run a 4-link, unequal length, parallel 4-link in the rear, and the only difference is the shock mounts. So on the later model axles, the 03 to 2012, there's a saddle back here on the bottom, and it runs the shock up this way. On these axles, the shock mount is down here in front and is on the inside of the frame rail versus the other one that's on the outside of the frame rail, because these are the coil perches right here that the coil springs mount on. So what I have to do is put my wheels, put an axle back in this, put my wheels on it, and see if they're going to clear the shock in the back with a coilover on it, or I will have to use possibly the front, or I'll just make a complete new mount on the rear. Now this axle is beneficial if you have a Crown Vic or you have this swapped in an F100. My F100 right now has the wider axle in it, and the problem is the rear tires, if the back gets lower down, the rear tires rub on the inside of the bed. So what this is going to do is narrow it up. I'll be able to run a bigger wheel in the back, wider with more tire on it, and not have the interference issues with the bed. Plus you can run lower offsets with wheels with a little bit of lip on it, which right now with mine isn't possible. So after tearing this thing in kind of apart, I just pulled the axles out of it, the spider gears and the axles. They are not 31 spline, they're 28. So the next thing is going to be a call to Mosier to get some 31 splines for the locker that's in the other axle. So hopefully when springtime's here, this thing will be back together in the truck. But the problem now is with snow on the ground, it's a pain in the ass getting the axle down here, which I had 2 or 3 days of no snow on the ground, so I threw it in a garden tractor cart and drug it down here. But now the axle has to come out of the truck, but I'm probably not even going to mess with that until this thing is back together 100%. Well, it can't be back together 100% because I need the diff out of that truck. So yeah, we'll see. We'll find out. So I was going to shoot a video on the F100, but it's covered in snow right now. And yeah, it's pretty much not going to get driven on the street for the next month and a half, 2 months, till the snow's gone. Maybe end of March, early April, who knows. So for now, it's just sitting out front, not doing anything. Just a perfect time to get this done. So once I end up putting this thing back together, I'm going to do a video on setting up gears in a rear end. The 8.8 seem to be a little finicky because you have bushings, you have shims on each side. And in a few of the videos I've watched, it seems like when you take these shim packs out, there's not a lot of variety in the shim pack. So when you put it back together with new gears, like let's just say you have 2 half-inch shims on this side, which is completely hypothetical, and you have 4 quarter-inch shims on this side, you're only going to be able to move this so far each way. So the plan is I'm going to order a shim kit, and then when these get pulled out, I will measure each side, write those numbers down, and then I can basically, let's say if there's a half-inch shim on this side, then I will make up a shim kit with a quarter-inch shim, an 1/8 inch, and 2 16th-inch shims, so that I can have, good amount of adjustability to get that thing back and forth. And yeah, that should be fun to set this thing up, because I hear they're kind of a pain, but oh well, we'll figure it out. And I'll have a set of 327. These are 327 gears. The gears in the truck are 373s. So I'll have an extra gear set of 327s if I need them. And there are the 28 splines. Yippee-o. But everything else looks pretty good. Obviously, pop new bearings and seals in there before this thing gets put back together. And build lower and upper control arms for it. And I think the setup's going to be coilovers on the rear with possibly helper bags installed here. I might cut this mount flush and have a plate sit on here for bags. That way I can utilize the old spring location for bags. If I ever decide to tow something or put a little bit of weight in the bed, I can air it up and take care of that. But yeah, this is it.